Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. I'm so excited for the topic that we're presenting on today and for the two amazing experts that we have joining us today. And judging by the sheer number of people, the sheer number of advisors who are joining us today for this call, it looks like you're excited too. So we're thrilled to have you. If you're on this call, I'm guessing that the reason you're on is because you're looking to grow your business. And that's what we're going to talk about today on this webinar. You're going to get some amazing tools and insights from two outstanding experts on not only how to increase the number of leads that you have, but increase the quality of those leads as well. You're going to get access and some insight into some new and probably unfamiliar tools to you. Some of them you may have experimented with before if you're a member of the Bill Good Marketing system, but a lot of this is probably going to be new for you on how to find and prospect to high net worth individuals in your area. So this is going to be an action-packed hour full of information that you can use. Now, before we dive in, let's do a couple quick points of housekeeping. If you've been on these webinars before, you know that we love when our attendees ask questions to our guests. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask to Bill or to Sam, or if you have a comment you'd like to make, feel free to do that. Just type it into the chat box and I'll relay that to them as we can get to them. So as we always do on these webinars, we want to thank you for giving up an hour of your valuable time. And the way we do that is by providing you with a special goodie bag. And inside this goodie bag are a number of free resources that you can use to get started on actually catching the big fish. So in today's goodie bag, for example, you're going to get a special insider access to a 30-day free trial to Sam Richter's Intel Engine. We're also going to give you a copy of a very special Money in Motion letter that Bill has written that's going to help you enable you to find and connect with more high net worth individuals in your area. And then finally, we're going to give you access to some special first call scripts that Bill has written. And that's really important because at some point after you've found these big fish, you're going to have to start real world conversations and interactions with them. And these scripts are going to help you be able to do that. So with these resources, you can actually go and take what you've learned today and immediately start applying it to help you find and connect with more high net worth individuals in your area. Now, to get access to the goodie bag, we just ask that you stay to the end of the webinar, and we'll provide you with a link to a special report card. It only takes around 45 seconds to a minute to fill out, and then you'll immediately be taken to the goodie bag. So stick around, and you'll get access to that link at the end of this call. All right, so now I'd like to introduce you to our hosts and then to our special guest today. So just very briefly, my name is Matthew Bailey. I'm the head writer and director of client content here at Bill Good Marketing. But you're not here to listen to me. You're here to listen to our other host, who is a dear friend of mine. He's been a personal mentor and an amazing role model to me over the years. He is the founder of our company. He's none other than Bill Good himself. Bill, thank you so much for joining us on this call today. And why don't you let people know a little bit more about you for those on the call who have not had a chance to meet you yet?
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. Just briefly, this is not about me. This is really about my guest, Sam. I developed the Bill Good Marketing system. I've been in this industry a long time. I've written 392 articles on business development in major trade magazines in the industry. I've written 2 books. One of them is in a page called The Best Prospecting Books of All Times. And that's who I am. All right. So my guest today is Sam Richter. And I consider Sam a wizard, if you will. You're looking at a picture of a wizard here. And people who know Sam know that he can find anything. And he has developed a special set of tools that are going to show you how to find something that you really are interested in, which is high net worth prospects that may be open to a solicitation, to reaching out to you. And so that's what we're going to do. But I'm first going to lay the groundwork for this. I want to tell you just a little bit about what we do, if you don't know. The Bill Good Marketing system is a CRM-based client marketing, prospecting, practice management, and branding system. It is all of those things. You could say on one hand that a car is some wheels and tires and an engine and braking. It's not. It's all of those things put together in a system, and that's what we've done. And far as I know, this is the only such system in the industry. So that's what we do. We're going to talk just a little piece of that today. And we're going to be focusing on prospecting, and the one skill to ensure business survival and growth is your ability to reach out beyond your sphere of influence and bring in new business. So that's true if you are a senior financial advisor. It's true if you are a rookie just getting into the business. If you cannot reach out beyond your sphere of influence, your survival in this day and age is more challenging than it has to be. And we're going to be focusing in this presentation on outreach. Now, specifically, the tools you're going to learn are precise and accurate. This little graphic shows you something that's not accurate and not precise, precise but not accurate. And over there on the right is precise and accurate. That's what you want as you prepare to reach out for some of these high net worth folks. All right. Now, here's a principle. I've written this before. I have talked about it. I've preached it. I've harangued it. Every marketing campaign starts with a list. No list, it's just wishful thinking. So we're going to be focusing in this presentation with getting a list of people who are or soon will be millionaires. All right. So that's what we're looking at. Now, there's some list development principles. These are in my book, Hot Prospects. And you can order Hot Prospects on Amazon. I use the Kindle edition, so I always have it with me because it's something I refer to frequently. So let's take a look at list development principle number 1. And we're going to use a single principle, the lookalike principle, to develop your first list. Your best prospect has the characteristics similar to someone who has already bought your product or service, and they might want some more. And that's in my book, Hot Prospects. All right. List development principle number 2. If at all possible, find a list on which word of mouth can occur. And this is so important that if I could yell at you right now to get the point across, I would. Your very best list is going to be a list of people where a client may know your prospect. And so you can say to the client, hey, do you know Bob Barking? Oh, yeah, he's in our Rotary Club. Would you mention to Bob for me that you're a good client of mine? Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. So this enables you to bring to bear third-party endorsement. List development number 3. You need to build lists of people in process of change. You're really looking for money in motion. And these are companies or people in the process of change. These are new jobs, legal settlements, inheritance, divorce, new homeowners, property purchase, property sales, retirement, that kind of stuff. That's what Sam is going to show you how to find today. So let's get started.
Thanks so much, Bill. I really appreciate it and honored to be with you. I mean, you are such a legend in the industry. So it's just really good to be with you and with all of your fans. So as Bill mentioned, today we're going to be talking about catching the big fish, how to laser target, how to really get access to the leads, the prospects that we care about, specifically related to activities going on in their world. How do we find the right people at the right time with the right message? So I want you to think about the last time that you met with a prospect. Now, how well did you really know that individual, their work background, educational history, their family life? Do they have kids? Do they have pets? What's their religious affiliation, political affiliation? Are they changing jobs? Are they ready to retire? Are they thinking about selling their business? Have they been at a company a long time where maybe they're not considered the high net worth individual today, but when they retire next year, they sure will be because they've been getting stock options for the last 30 years. I would argue if you don't know the answers to those questions, before you walk in the room, before you send an email, before you do a social media connection, that you're winging it a little bit. So show of virtual hands. How many of you have ever winged it before? Hey, we all do it, right? The key is, how do we figure out that information, again, before we walk in the room? Because the question we want to answer today is, could our businesses be better if we had access to better intel? So I want you to think about everything you do in a digital format, every website you look at, every social media post you make, every text you leave, every time you're walking around your community, you're probably being filmed and that information is stored in the cloud. And we've all heard of this concept called big data. And what's big data? We think of big data as information that big companies are using to market to us, or big governments using to spy on us, right? And well, that's all true. The key is you all have access to big data. There's trillions of pieces of data floating around your head right now. And if you have wireless internet access, you can find that information. The key is, how do we take data and translate that into information, transform information into knowledge, and act on that knowledge to grow our business? And I'm going to give you the shortcuts to doing that today. Now, why is this important? Well, let's go back a few years. A few years ago, you could be really successful in sales, the sales part of your advisor relationships, if you were interesting. Well, I believe it's no longer enough to be interesting. And what do I mean by interesting? Well, think about your website. Maybe some of you have a business journal article. You do a radio interview. You're interesting. People can find you. Your LinkedIn profile. You've got YouTube videos. Well, guess what? Anybody can do that now. And frankly, it's pretty inexpensive. You can go on sites like Upwork, hire somebody in a different country for $5 an hour to create your YouTube videos. You can hire ghostwriters to write your blog posts. It's no longer enough to be interesting because, quite frankly, everybody's interesting. To succeed in sales today, you must be interested in the other person and what they care about. Why? Well, let me tell you something. Your prospects, your existing clients, they're amazingly passionate about one thing. What is it? Well, it's themselves. People are amazingly passionate about themselves. Yet all too often, what do? Especially in today's sales world, where maybe 4 years ago, you could actually meet people at a coffee shop. Now, more often than not, people will give you 20 minutes over Zoom and you get a 1-inch by 1-inch screen. But who do we end up talking about all too often in our programs, in our virtual, in our meetings in person? We end up talking about ourselves, our asset allocation models, our firm. We've been in business for 35 years. We're a family-run firm. Nobody cares. But people are massively passionate about themselves. So in a sense, how do we, again, find the right person at the right time? What's going on in their world? Instead of talking about us, we can share our experiences. We can share our solutions of how we've helped other people in the exact same situation that they're in. Talk about them. That's really the theory of why we're here. Now, all of you probably have a CRM system. And what's CRM stand for? Well, it's customer relationship management. Most of you probably do a really good job on the customer side. Like if I were to ask you, how many times do people go to your website? What's the click-through rate on your emails? How about your webinars? When somebody comes on board, how often do you have to meet with them? We've done a really good job in our CRM systems with the customer side. Now, the management side, some of you have done a really good job with that. What do I mean by this? You're using your CRM system to manage your practice. For example, you've set up the CRM system so when you're onboarding a new client, you come in, you click a button, do a pull-down menu, and all of a sudden, everybody else in your office knows what they have to do. But what's that R stand for? It's relationship. How many of you actually bonus your staff for strong relationships? We don't. I mean, we talk about relationships, but what does that really mean? And frankly, do we really need to have a relationship with our clients? Hear me out. I know you're going to argue with me. Yes, you need to have a relationship. You need to have relationship mindset thinking. You need to know about your clients' families, their pets, their goals, their dreams, what's keeping them stopped from achieving those dreams. You need to know that. But do your clients need to know that about you? No. So the word relationship, I think, is really the wrong word, because again, how do we bonus relationships? See, I think the right word is the word relevance. What's going on in the other person's world? How do we align our solutions with what they care about? And when we think about relevance, it's really a relevance mindset. You have to go into every meeting, client meeting, prospect meeting, understanding what's important to the other person, so then you're relevant to what they care about. And when we think about a relevance mindset, there's really three core components of relevance. There's goals. What are their goals? What do they care about? Is it sending a kid to college? Is it retiring? Is it going on a world cruise vacation? They want to buy a new house. They want to buy a new car. What are their goals? What are their fears? What's getting in the way of of achieving those goals? Maybe they're an entrepreneur. They own their own business. They never know when the next scholar is coming in. Maybe they're worried that they're just not going to have enough money. Maybe they're worried that their kids want to go to a really expensive college. What are their fears? And what are their care abouts? What's going on in their world that they care about? When you can figure out their goals, fears, and care abouts, you can ask better questions, you can engage, and you're relevant to what the other person cares about. That's what I'm showing you today. Now, yeah, I'm going to show you how to find information online, but that's cool. That's the cool part, but it's the why that's so important. Because in today's world, like I said earlier, it's no longer enough to be interesting. We must be interested. And the only way to be interested is through relevance. Because when you're relevant, you get to hyper-personalize your prospecting. What do I mean by hyper-personalize? Putting 1,000 names into a email marketing system like MailChimp and then sending out a newsletter where it says, Dear Joe, Dear Sue, Dear Sally, that's not hyper-personalization. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. It's important to do that. That's really from a marketing perspective, a function of branding. You got to get your name out there. You got to be an expert. But when I'm talking about hyper-personalization, it might be something to a prospect that you've never met before. It might be something like, hey, I was meeting with my client, Joe. As you know, Joe's been at Costco for 35 years. And he mentioned that you've been at Costco for 35 years. Or I've done some research and found out that you've been at Costco for 35 years. Would love to chat with you because I know the retirement program, I know the pension program, I know the stock options you're receiving better than most of the HR people at Costco. Just using that as an example. We'll talk about finding the millionaire next door before they even become the millionaire next door as an example. But that's not something you can put in MailChimp. That's hyper-personalization. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz. Remember the Wizard of Oz, right? You had the guy that was doing the buttons and the pulling the bar. So you have the yellow brick road and Dorothy's all excited, but we all know that there's a wizard going in the background when we pull the curtain back that's making all the magic happen. In my training, that's what I normally do. I teach people how to take advantage of the Wizard of Oz. I teach people how to manually find information using the tools they use every day, like Google and social media and LinkedIn. Well, I'm not going to do that today. We're going to skip the Wizard of Oz. We're going to go right into the Wizard of Oz. I'm going to give you access to the tools to find the information that you need to be hyper relevant in every communication. We're going to unlock the visible and visible web for you. So to do that, I'm going to show you a couple of tools. One is called You Got Intel. It's a completely free site, and you're going to have access to that. And I'll show you a couple of tools. It's a list building tool. You can find information on people. And in the goodie bag, you're going to get access to the Financial Advisor Intel Engine free for 30 days. So I'm going to go into my other studio here. I'm going to log into my computer. and I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay, here we are. So the first tool that we wanted to show you, as I mentioned, it's a free tool called You Got Intel. Let me show you what that looks like. So you register for your free account and you can go to You Got Intel and you can access a number of these free tools that I've developed that help you access or use the internet more effectively. Now, I want to be clear. All the tools I'm going to share with you today, they're not some super secret database where I'm scraping the internet. What I've developed is a technology that allows us to access resources quicker than you could do on your own. So to get a little techno geeky here, Google allows you to do, say, a 30-word search. LinkedIn, maybe a 10-word search. And the search engines that I'm going to share with you, think of it as a search engine overlay. It sits on top of other search engines, but many times I'm doing a 600 and 800-word search in less than a second to help you find the information that you care about. Specifically, as it relates to researching for prospects, we're going to go to You Got Lists. So once you've created your account, you can go to You Got Lists. And let's say I want to find executives in my community. Well, how about Rotary? Let's go find Rotary memberships. And we'll say in Dallas. I can choose a list type, contacts and documents, contacts and spreadsheets. How about membership directories? So find me membership directories that are related to Rotary clubs in Dallas. And I can go through here and these would be members of Rotary in Dallas. Click on any one of these and pull up information. I might say, you know what? Find me the word chief executive. And we'll say Atlanta. And this time, let's find an attendee list. So find me attendee lists of chief executives in Atlanta. Again, it helps you really laser focus down. Now, is this every attendee list for every program that there's ever been in Atlanta? No. What we're doing is we're searching the free and publicly accessible internet. The good news is there's enough information out there where we can find the types of lists that we might care about. Chamber lists. So again, maybe on this one, I'll choose chamber lists in Atlanta. Again, we can find those key people that we might want to target. So those are some of the free tools available at You Got Intel. Some of the other things would be like You Got the News. It allows you to go in and search for news articles. I'll use myself as an example on this. Most people, when they're searching for news articles, default to Google News. And Google News is awesome, but I know I've been interviewed more than 3 times. So this is kind of my own news search engine. And as you can see, it's also going to be searching local newspapers, trade journals. So that's more like it. The 7,000 times I've been interviewed, blog posts, press releases, social media, got to scroll through the ads here, but you can use or access all this information. Some of the other tools you might use would be like You Got Sites. This is always a fun one. I'll go in here and type in 3m.com. Find me the word employee agreement, but you're only allowed to search the 3m.com website. And I can click on PDF files, and it's pretty crazy what you can find online when you know where and how to look. So that's You Got Lists, completely free. Share it with your friends, share it with your kids, and it really helps you really dive in and find the information that you care about. Now,
Sam, we have if I can interrupt really quick, we have a quick question from Cody. He just wanted to know if this works in Canada.
Yes, it does. Now, in Canada, you need to be a little bit careful when you download a list because they have Canada's privacy laws are a lot stricter than the United States. So in the United States, if you're sending somebody an email that's educational by nature, hey, I would like to invite you to a webinar, you're probably going to be just fine. In Canada, that's probably frowned upon. So you'll want to go through LinkedIn on that, connect with people on LinkedIn. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment.
Great. Thank you, Sam. And thank you, Cody, for your question.
Okay, so this is the tool that you all get 30 days free access to. And this is really a laser power prospecting tool that I've created. I'm not going to go through everything on here, but I'll hit the key points. The first one is, how do you find company employees? I can search by seniority. So I might say, hey, I'm looking for company employees using that example from earlier at Costco. I can choose a function, or I can just search by seniority and say, find me the presidents at Costco, the partners at Costco. the VPs at Costco, the directors at Costco. So it allows you to quickly find the information on the people you might want to reach out to at a company. Now, how might you use this? Let's say you've got a client who works at Costco. Maybe they're a vice president. Maybe they're in marketing. So I'll go down to marketing and I'll say, find me the other vice presidents of marketing at Costco, and I'm going to reach out to these people. So it really is a great way to laser focus in and find, again, the information that you might care about. Kind of the reverse of that is job function. So here I might say, you know what, find me everybody in manufacturing in Dallas. I can search by seniority, who is a vice president, and it will pull up those folks. So marketing, technology. Now, when you get this, you're not in any trouble. It's just basically because I'm running an 800-word search, Google's saying, wait a second, you can't be a human being. You just got to click on it and prove that you are. So this helps you, again, find those laser targets. Now, here's where it gets really powerful as it relates to finding the prospects, those relevant prospects we care about. Time at company. This one I actually developed based on a question by an advisor. They said, you know, Sam, people are always calling on, researching, sending direct mail pieces, emails, making phone calls, inviting them to dinner seminars. All of my competitors call the millionaire next door. How can I find the millionaire next door before they even become the millionaire next door? So we're going to use Costco again as an example. Find me people who have worked at Costco for 30 to 40 years. Costco is a publicly traded company. Every 2 weeks, these employees have been receiving company stock options in their 401k plan. I can go in here and find people. So we'll go down to a manager level, and we'll take Jason here, marketing manager. Now, Jason, I don't know this for certain, but Jason has probably never made more than $100,000, $120,000 a year as a marketing manager. So he's not your traditional millionaire next door, but we see that he's been there for more than 36 years. So when he retires, which will probably be pretty soon, the next 5 years or so, he's going to retire with most likely a 7, maybe even an 8-figure retirement plan. So how do we find these people before they become the millionaire next door? Now, this one, time at company, you do need to put in a company name. Some of these others find people by approximate age. So I might say, you know, find me people in Dallas in, let's say, the advertising industry. And age range, I like to find people in their mid-60s. And now I can find owners of ad companies in the mid-60s in Dallas who might be interested in retiring soon. Maybe they want to sell their business. Whatever the benefits, the solutions you can offer, your experiences with them, you can find the right people and be very relevant. School alumni, this is a great one. Let's say I'm a financial advisor and I just moved to Los Angeles. Well, I went to the University of Minnesota. And I want to move to Los Angeles. Now, as an advisor, if I just randomly call a bunch of business owners, CEOs in Los Angeles, hi, I'm a new advisor in town, right? Delete, 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 delete. But I can go in here. I'm going to even choose an age range. I'll choose mid-50s. And I'm going to search for University of Minnesota graduates who are owners of companies in Los Angeles. Now, when I reach out to these people, I'm not just a new advisor they've never heard of. I'm actually a fellow alumnus because they went to the University of Minnesota at approximately the same time that I did. So it's a super easy way to find the right people. Again, we can click through and get the people who we care about. Now, he's a graduate, probably of Graduate School of Wharton, but again, same thing. If I scroll down, about the same age, and we're fellow alumni at the school. So find people that are relevant to what they care about, not so much what you care about. And then power search. I'll just use a little story here. I like to use my daughter. So my daughter graduates from the University of Missouri with a degree in marketing, except she graduated in May of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. So she did what her career advisor said, hey, send out a bunch of LinkedIn requests and ask for an informational interview. She sent out more than 100 and got the grand total of 0 responses. I told her, hey, let's try the power of relevance. So she wanted to get into fashion marketing in New York. So I said, let's go find people with the word marketing or advertising in their job title. They're in New York and they're in the fashion industry. And here's the power of relevance. In college, my daughter was a Zeta Tau Alpha sorority member. So in less than a few seconds, she's able to pull up all the other Zeta Tau Alphas in the fashion industry in New York. She sent out 4 requests for an informational interview, got 4 positive responses, 4 interviews, landed her dream job. That's the power of relevance. All right, so that was the company employees. That was the longest one. I'll get through some of these other real quickly. Company research, again, allows you to find companies by number of employees, annual revenue. One that's pretty cool is a classified business search. This is the concept that people like to do business with people who they like. So I can go in here and say, we'll use Dallas because I can spell it. We'll choose advertising. Texas. And if I'm a female advisor, I'm going to go find all of the female-owned advertising agencies in Dallas. If I'm a minority advisor, I'm going to go find the minority-owned ad agencies in Dallas, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, so on and so on. Company details. This really, if you do want to get information on a company, you can type in a company names. I'll choose one that I know, Brandpoint in Hopkins, Minnesota. This will give you information about the size of the company. So you can see approximately how large they are. Social media accounts, Better Business Bureau ratings, employee reviews, customer reviews. Company websites is that site search that I showed you in the You Got Intel, so same tool. And then qualified plans. This is really cool. Where I can go in here, I can type in a zip code range, and I can say, find me plan types 401ks with at least 1,000 to 10,000 participants. I could choose an asset size, and it will go out and find those plans. I can then download the complete plan document. Other cool things I can do here is I can type in a zip code range. Let's say that you're only allowed to work with plans that use Schwab. Search for qualified plans. And then on anytime you see a little person icon here under service providers, you can click on that and even get their direct and indirect compensation. Again, click here to download the document. Now, what's really neat—
Sam, really quick, if I can break in really quick, we have 2 other questions I wanted to pose for you.
Yep.
Then I can hide my screen again.
Sure.
First, we have a question from William. He asks, can this search function be used for government employees?
Yes, it can. Yep. So
Terrific.
I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you that right when we're done with the qualified plan search. I'll finish that up. So what's also cool about this is you can go in and I'm just going to grab the company name here, Bakery Drinker, company plans and decision makers, paste in the company name. I can get all of their plans and search for plan executives, the top executives, benefits executives if they have any, HR executives. And this is using AI to search for all synonyms of a particular word. So it was the system smart enough to know that even though this person doesn't say human resources as their job title, so you wouldn't find this person searching for human resources on LinkedIn, but Leslie is probably the person that you need to speak with. And you can even use, if I go back here, I love plans with a self-directed option. Again, laser target in. Companies that have a self-directed option, you can go in here and maybe offer to do a lunch and learn for all the employees. Come in, meet with the employees, maybe you talk about the economy, and then you offer to do an asset allocation review of their 401k plan. Then when you're done with that, you come back, present the results, and I'm going to guess a good number of those folks, now that you're building a relationship with them, are going to end up engaging you in the long run. So find plans with a self-directed option in your community. And I know in speaking with advisors, doing those lunch and learns could be a lot more effective than, say, doing dinner seminars. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't do dinner seminars, but this might be another way to really target prospects. Now, getting back into the government employees, sure, I can go up here. I can type in state of Minnesota as an example. As the company name, search by seniority, and I can find directors at the state of Minnesota. So here's the Aaron Roberts Health Equity Director. Now, here's another cool thing. When you're on somebody's LinkedIn profile, within the Intel engine, you get access to what's called the Lead Leaper plugin. I'll show you where that is in just a minute. When you have that installed, you get access to 200 credits every month, resets every month. What's a credit? It's their email address and oftentimes their phone number. So when you're on somebody's LinkedIn profile, this works about 80% of the time. You see this little frog here in my browser? I can click on the frog and it will go out and search for the person's contact information. And there you go, Aaron Roberts, mn.gov, and her phone number. So like I said, that works about 80% of the time. You get 200 credits every single month. You'll find that in the Biz Contact Info area. So you can determine an email address, but I like this free contact info plugin. Just read this, or excuse me, watch this short video. It'll tell you exactly how to install it. A few other features, and then I'll turn it back to Bill. Take any questions. Centers of influence. Find me owners. And this doesn't search just the standard center of influence. It'll also pull up estate attorneys, real estate attorneys. I love like collectible dealers. I mean, who knows wealthy people in your community than collectible dealers? Another neat feature in here is Advisor Finder. So I'll use, again, Minneapolis, and I want to find advisors who might be interested in selling their book of business. They're in their mid-60s. Let's search for owners of firms. So here are owners of firms in Minneapolis in their mid-60s who might be interested in selling their practice. Again, I can click on our lead leaper, our little frog here, and we can go out and find, hopefully, their email address and phone number. And you can do the flip side. Maybe you want to recruit an advisor in their 30s, and they have expertise in 401k plans. We can find those advisors and maybe recruit some of these folks. Address and Wealth Finder. You can go in here and I can say, hey, find me people in Wayzata, Minnesota, whose homes are worth, 5 to 10 million. We can pull up those homes. I can copy that street address, go back here, paste it in. We can even get the owner information. This is great if you're looking for people, like I said, wealthy in a community. And let's say that this individual is already your client. You can ask for introductions to neighbors. Again, laser focus your targeting. And here are some recent neighbors. So you can, instead of saying, do you know somebody who could use me? Well, we know that these people probably have homes worth that much as well. You can ask for that introduction. Other ways to find people. And then finally, I want two more things to show you. Money in motion. So recent hires and promotions. I was working with an advisor, works at General Mills. He's an advisor, and a lot of his best clients are executives at General Mills. And he asked me, he said, Sam, I want to serve more people at General Mills. But I don't want to be chasing people that aren't high net worth individuals or don't have a money in motion. And I said, well, how about if I build you something that could do that? Instead of calling all 30,000 employees at General Mills, how about calling ones who've been recently hired? So they have maybe an old 401k they need to be transferred into, open up an IRA, or people who've been recently promoted. They're going to have more money. They're going to have more stock. So again, I can go in, type in a company name, General Mills. I can choose a job function. I'm going to stay pretty broad. Find me vice presidents at General Mills who've been hired or promoted in the past 1 to 4 months. So this is a perfect example of laser focusing in. Been there for 19 years, but promoted 2 months ago. Find the exact right person you're talking about. Obituary announcements, insider trading, and then past year events. A past year event. Why would somebody So this is really what we call a sales trigger or a money in motion event. Find people in Minneapolis or companies in Minneapolis that have recently relocated. So I can go through here, you'll get some false positives, but I can in general find companies that have moved to Minneapolis. I can then go in and type in the company name and find the executives at that organization. This is a pretty cool one too. Advisors seeking jobs, Dallas, finding all the advisors in Dallas who, if you reached out to them today, would probably take your call. So here are advisors that are seeking job opportunities, looking to grow their business. And then finally, the follow-up GPT. So what this is, as we know, sometimes we have a long sales cycle with prospects. Could be months, could be years, where you meet with somebody, you reach out to them before they eventually become a client. Well, how do we stay in touch with people in ways that are relevant to what they care about? Well, you can go use the ChatGPT follow-up. Find an article or report. So let's say that I met with a prospect and they told me that they're going on an Italian wine vacation. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in Italy. And then here I'll type in wine. I'll type in vacation over here. And I'm going to go find an article. Let's find a good one. Here. It's a good one. Tastiest hotels around the world. I don't have time to read this article, but I know my buddy Bill Good is really interested in these kinds of articles. So I'm going to go and I'm going to type in interesting, thought you'd enjoy. This is going to go to Bill, come from Sam. I'm going to paste in the article. And without ever reading the article, the system is now in less than 1 second, in less than 1 second, is going to go out, read the article, and craft an email for Bill. Now I can copy this, go into my Outlook, paste it, maybe change a few words around. But in the old way of doing things, I used to do, I block off about 30 minutes a week to do what's called the value-added follow-up. A few months ago, I could do 3 a week because I have to find an article, read the article, craft the email. Now I let the system do the work for me. So, hey, I just threw a lot at you. I'm super excited for you to give it a try, but I'll be quiet now. I'm going to turn it back to Bill. And of course, Matthew, if there are any questions for me, I'd be happy to take those now or when Bill is done as well.
Thanks so much, Sam. We do have a couple of questions before we turn the time back over to Bill. Sure. First off, Tim would like to know, how is this different from LinkedIn Navigator?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first off, LinkedIn Navigator is awesome. And so if you have LinkedIn Navigator, this works with it. So I'll give you a great example, just job seniority. So you could go in and say, hey, find me all the employees at General Mills. But LinkedIn Navigator is not going to be able to pull up all these in just a second. So it just did 800 simultaneous LinkedIn searches in less than a second. And it's using AI to find all of the synonyms of a particular job title. So this will search for vice president, VP, EVP, SVP. So for example, even in Sales Navigator, if you said Vice President General Mills, Scott would not have shown up because he doesn't go by that. He goes by SVP. Or same thing here, General Mills, search by profile. So what are all the marketing people? HR and recruiting is another great example. So recruiter, culture, HR initiatives, talent acquisition coordinator, all the different synonyms of a particular word that Sales Navigator wouldn't show up. Now, Sales Navigator is awesome. I would not get rid of Sales Navigator to use this. I think they're very complementary. They work very, very well together. Because again, when you open this up, if I had Sales Navigator, it would actually open up in Sales Navigator, where then you can save that search. You can send an email or an in-mail, organize it. So it really works complementary to Sales Navigator.
Excellent. And then Joseph would like to know if he can get an idea of the cost after 30 days.
Sure. It's $39 a month. But there's also an annual plan. And then there's for lack of a better term, a lifetime plan. So, it's pretty, it's kind of in the no-brainer status. Like, as I like to say, look, if you can't find new prospects using this for $39 a month, then we got bigger problems.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to use Bill Good's marketing system, it's like impossible not to find new prospects. And Bill's going to give you the system on how to best reach out to them.
Right. Bill, welcome back.
I'm
turn
here.
the time back over to you.
So what we have for you folks is a goodie bag. And there's one thing actually that's not on the goodie bag list because it's not in the bag and we haven't quite set it up yet. But if you will complete a short questionnaire, and you have to complete it and submit it, then that takes you straight to the goodie bag. And there you'll get a sheet that has all the information you need to get a free trial for Sam's Intel engine. I have created for you a money in motion letter. And that's an introduction letter to prospects with a new job at a new company. Now, here's what's important. There's a lot of communication that has to occur in the virtual world. And that's what Sam has been talking about. Well, sooner or later, you've got to build a bridge from the real world into the virtual world and have conversations with people. So I have also created for you some first call scripts. And this is after you have reached out to somebody. Maybe you've done a LinkedIn request. They've accepted. They've joined your group. You may have sent them an email or two. Perhaps you have invited them to a webinar. And then it's time to see if we can reach out to them. Well, here's a way to do that. By the way, folks, if you decide that you're going to invest $39 or whatever it is a month in Sam's system, Sam and I are going to put together 3 follow-up calls. There is a lot of information on here. You're going to have a lot of questions. And this is going to give you a chance to learn the tools that Sam has and also some of the tools that we have. Sam has lists, we have content. So to get your goodie basket, you go to bgmtips.com/big fish and put it in exactly the way you see it. Capitalize big and fish, bgmtips.com/big fish. And the odds are that our technical coordinator, Paige, has probably put that in your chat. But this is how you get your goodie bag. So you want to get a free trial to Sam's Intel engine. You want to download the money in motion letter and the first call scripts. And then we will help you over the next 3 months coordinate a lot of communication with the people you want to have as clients. And I think nothing like this has ever been done before. So that's all I have, Matthew. I'm going to go to our last slide here, I think. And there it is. And there's our thank you very much. And just a little statement from me here. I have designed my system to help you double production or work half as much. Over the years, thousands of financial advisors have accomplished more in less time because they followed my time-tested, proven system. The system works. If you have any questions, you want to talk to somebody at our shop, jot down 888-495-7303. Sam, thank you very much for your outstanding presentation. And we will have an edited version of this available shortly because in order to absorb what Sam did, you're going to have to go back and study it. He went through a blizzard of information for you, and it will require some study. Is that a fair statement, Sam?
So I was saying, Bill, that's exactly why we're offering the additional webinars. So those will be really more of a deep dive. And I kind of gave you, like I said, a high level overview, drink through a fire hose today, and I apologize for that. But hopefully it's pretty intuitive. And then on those follow-up webinars, we might just focus an entire webinar just on finding the right employees at a company, or an entire webinar focused on qualified plans. And obviously, once you've gone in and used it a little bit, you're going to have additional questions.
All right. So Sam, thank you. Matthew, thank you. Paige, thank you for rescuing me when my monitor decided to do a a Bork or whatever it is. And ladies and gentlemen, get started and start developing just a few names that you can start to reach out to. So thank you very much for joining us. Take care. Have a really great next 3 months. Bye.